Hi, I'm Nicole, and this is Vanessa, and welcome to Savor the Story podcast, where books and snacks are life. The word that I forgot of what we're doing. We're doing a podcast.
Yes, Happy New Year.
And I just want to blame Vanessa for a second for that really awkward intro.
Listen, new episode of the year. I just decided let's switch it up. So you're welcome.
Yes, yeah. Well, thank you. Now another thing makes my eye twitch this morning.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yes, it's our first episode of the year. It's our first episode that is going to be on video. It's a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking that since it's the first video that's going to be going up, maybe I'll explain a little bit, like, this is not our standard. If this is your first time here, this is not our standard like format. So this episode specifically is going to be our 2024 reading wrap up. So all of our what we rate, like how many we rated, how many we read, like all of the things. But our standard episode is every Sunday. We put out an episode of all the books that we read that week with our reviews of the books we read that week. And then obviously what our favorite snack was that week. And and then on the first of every month, we're going to do bonus bites. Right now we're in the middle of Twilight. So on February 1st, we'll be Breaking Dawn Part 1. But for this episode of the first of this month, we decided to, instead of doing bonus bites, we're going to do our wrap up. So in our regular episodes, we usually do a little bit of chit chatty up front, but this one, I don't know how long it's going to be. So we're going to just jump right into our end of year shit.
Yeah.
Yes. What I said.
Right. I also want to point out that it's like 8 in the morning right now. So I literally just got out of bed and I was like, time to go do a podcast episode, guys.
It's closer to 9 than it is to 8.
Fine. Fine.
Well, I mean, this is what happens when we have to record multiple episodes in a day. Okay, so before we get into any of our book reviews, should we say what our favorite snack is of the year?
Yes.
Okay.
I am going to secretly think in my brain what yours is, and then you tell me, and I'll tell you if I was right or wrong.
Do you want to just say it? Because I feel like you're right. Oh, I might have 2. Okay, no, you tell me what you think it is.
I was gonna say carrot cake.
Yes. Do you know how much carrot cake I had? Oh, okay. So that was going to be my answer, was carrot cake, but I never used this as a snack for a rating because I haven't had it since we started the podcast. But something I ate this year that I loved was Nicole's Tres Leches cake.
Oh, yes. So tasty.
So that is also a snack for the year. That is my non-rating snack of the year. And then my carrot cake is my rating snack of the year.
Yes, that makes me not secretly. It makes me happy.
Okay, good.
Yes. Oh, man, I love Tres Leches.
It's
so
delicious.
Good. So, man,
Okay.
if I was smart, I would have thought about making some for the show or for the podcast. So you could, maybe next year.
Okay.
I'll make it.
Great.
You can use it as a podcast snack.
Thank you. Okay.
I don't have a non-podcast
That's okay.
snack and a podcast snack. I just have one.
Okay.
And I think it's probably the first snack. I think it's from the first episode we did.
Okay.
Affogato.
Ooh.
The gelato ice cream.
Yeah.
Delicious mixture. So I think I'm sticking with that. That one's my fave.
Okay, great.
So
all right.
yeah.
Now we can get into book stuff.
Yes.
So I guess like where we should start is what was your goal for 2024?
Oh, yes. So I had a reading goal, a very lofty reading goal of reading 50 books this year.
A lofty, okay. My goal was also 50 this year. So was your goal based on anything? Like, did you just pick a random number?
I picked a number that I knew I could hit.
Okay.
Because I think I said in a previous episode, I had like last year, is in 2023 last year, I had 89 Kindle books only. Like, books that I read on my Kindle, to not include audiobooks or physical copies. So I knew I was going to be able to hit 50.
So why did you pick? You just wanted something you knew you could. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I wanted a no stress reading year.
Okay. And then you made me start a podcast where we read.
Cheers.
So I I've kind of always been a reader, but I've also always been like, sometimes I go a little up and down where I have like a couple off years. And that's kind of what 2023 kind of got me back into reading. And I think I ended up only reading like 25 or something that year. So then when I started 2024, I was like, let's make it 50.
Okay. Yeah. And so you tried to double this year.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that was why I ended up with the number that I ended up with. And Nicole, let me point out real fast. We are recording this a week before the end of the year. So there is still a week. So these are all our numbers a week before. I don't think that my numbers are going to change. I don't really have any plans to read anything this week, but Nicole's may change.
Yeah. I feel like unless we do the next, like the last episode of the year, you already have some books, I think, squirreled away.
I do.
Okay. So you were able to just include those in your your end of your number. Yeah. Mine will probably change by 2 or 3.
Okay.
Depending on what next week looks like. So.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So what did your number as of today end up being for the year?
121.
Good Lord. 100. You more than doubled your goal.
Yes. It's like 124% or something.
Good gracious, man.
A++.
Okay. And what was your breakdown of your, like, how many
of each?
Yeah.
So I had 25 physical books.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I had 49 audiobooks.
Okay.
Which is crazy because I never have that many audiobooks.
Okay.
And then I had 47 Kindle books.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which usually it's Kindle books, like I was saying, like that. It's mostly Kindle books, but this year, I think because I was going for quantity.
That's what I was gonna say. You were trying to hit a bigger number.
Right. So
did you do more driving this year to where you had to listen to more?
No, I think I just was more conscious of listening to books in the car instead of like music or podcasts.
Okay.
So
fair. So I also did better than my goal.
Yes. I was gonna say I knew you did, so
yes, I finished with 88.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did, I don't know if it's 126%, but or whatever you said, but it's probably like it's 102%.
Yes.
I didn't even look
Math.
I'm sure my Goodreads will tell me.
It will.
So, and then I did only 6 physicals.
Only 6 physical books?
Only 6 physical books. Yeah, because I just don't do physical books. 32 audio, which is more than I've ever done. And 50 Kindles.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you hit your yearly goal at just Kindle books.
In just Kindle books, yeah. So I typically, like, Kindle is where I read the most usually. This year, I feel like I jumped up in audiobooks because, like I've explained in another episode, my sister and I do a sister book club, and she likes to do hers in in audiobooks. And so I like to do it the same like medium as her. And my sister and I did 25 books together this year. Wow. So 25 of my 32 audiobooks were with my sister. So I feel like that's why my audiobook is so high.
And when did you start doing this with your sister?
January. Yeah.
Oh, was it January? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. That's like 2 a month.
Mm-hmm. So when we first started, it was because I visited in the middle of January. Like I visited back home, and that is the week that we decided to do it. And it was like January 15th or something like that. So it was pretty beginning. And we were like, let's just do one a month. And then what happened is like we would, as soon as I would finish a book or she would finish a book, we would text each other and be like, I'm done. And so then we'd set it up to talk about it, and then we just go to the next one. We weren't on a specific timeline. It was just kind of based on when we finished, and so it ended up being more than one a month.
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because if you're like, we'll talk every 30th. Yeah, gotcha. But
that was the original plan, but then we were like, oh, this book's only 8 hours. I can talk to you next week, or this book's only whatever. So, the only books that we gave a lot more time were the ones that were like 20 hours or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. Because if I can take a second to tell you how many sister reads I did with my sister.
Is it 1.5?
How'd you know? So we each finished one book.
Oh, you did?
Okay. Well, yes, we did one book. It was Lies We Sing to the Sea. Mm-hmm. And we both did not like it. But, and I know this is also something we've talked about previously. I was supposed to read Wicked with her.
Yes.
She finished, and I got scared because I heard from so many people, including her. Yeah. She told me it's a terrible book, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't listen to it. And I was like, I take that as like, I
don't have to do this. Yeah.
Right. So I didn't. And I still haven't. And it's sitting there on my shelf.
Did you even start it at all?
No.
Okay, good. I'm proud of you.
So, yeah. We were not as what is the word?
Diligent?
Diligent. Yes.
I don't know if that's the word, but
yeah. We were not as good as you guys at doing sister reads.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Are you going to attempt it in 2025?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Unless she says something. I think we'll probably just get this year really showed me that I am not good at like book clubs. So it's usually just more of a, when I see her, she'll just ask me like, what are all the books you've read since the last time I've seen you? And
okay.
We'll talk about all the books.
Do a rundown.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to call that our book club. I kind of like that as a book club format almost.
I do too.
Just like because we text throughout the month, but I'll go up and visit her, or she'll visit me like every month or every couple months, and we just say, this is everything I've read in the last month. And if the other person has read it, we have something to talk about. If not, you have like a good or bad recommendation to like keep up there. So
yeah, that's kind of when you said it's a good book club like format. I agree with that, because you could either you have similarities and you could talk about them, or you get some really cool recommendations out of it. So
right. Yeah. And I kind of like that it doesn't put any pressure on you to finish a specific book that maybe might not be your genre or in your tastes.
Right.
So
yep, for sure.
I think I would prefer to just keep doing that. And if there was a book club out there where that was just the thing, I would join that. So
yeah, I like that one. Okay, so tell me your breakdown of ratings. Of your 100 and how many did you read? 120? 21. How many of them were 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Right. Well, for everybody who hasn't listened to all our episodes, I've up until a couple months ago only had like one 5-star rating. and I said I think I was being probably too harsh in some of my ratings. Just something about giving a 5-star rating. Well, so I went back and I did go through and change some of the books to 5 stars that I probably was too harsh on.
Okay.
For no reason, minus panic,
right.
anxiety.
5 stars.
I'll just give it 5 stars. So I now have 6 5-star books this year.
Nice.
Yes. I have 47 4 stars.
Okay.
59 3 stars. 8 2 stars. And 1 1 star.
Okay.
1 little 1 star.
1 star. And how many did you DNF?
25.
Okay. All right. We'll get into that. Okay, your 5 star. Do you want to tell me what your 5 stars are?
Yeah, I can. I wrote them down because I figured you were going to ask.
I am.
So I was like, okay. Okay, so probably no surprise. Circe.
Yes.
Was my first 5-star this year.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that book. That's by Madeline Miller. And then I kind of went on like a dry spell for 5-star books for like 3 or 4 months.
And yeah, because you read Circe in like February or something, right? February or March? Okay.
Yeah. So, and then later in the year, things really picked up. And I had A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy Lynn, 1,000 Steps into Night by Tracy Chee, The Last Blood Carver by Vanessa Lee, The Hunter Killers by Dan Hampton, and this one was a late ad. I was finishing up doing my stuff this morning, and I was like, oh, I don't know why I took anything away from this book. I really enjoyed it the whole time.
Okay.
It is Regrettably, I Am About to Cause Trouble by Amy McNee.
Okay. All of those, except for Circe, you have reviewed on this podcast.
Yes, I have. Luckily, I hit the heights at the end of the year while we were already re-recording. So.
Yes. Go to our website and check the episode guides, and you can find where all of those episodes are.
Right.
Where all episodes those books are in.
Right. And if you listen to the episodes and I'm like, don't listen to that, Nicole. Listen to, December Nicole, end of year wrap-up Nicole. She says those are 5-star books.
Exactly. Where she has reevaluated her anxieties about it.
Exactly.
Gave it what it deserved.
December Nicole don't give a fuck.
That's right.
Go read them books.
Yes. Okay. Before we talk about DNFs, I'm going to tell you what my ratings are. Okay. So I had so also I realized that I give a lot of my books like half ratings.
Yeah, that's really hard.
Yes, I had to go back through and give them all like full. Maybe for 2025 we'll do our wrap up including half ratings. But for this one we're gonna go with the whole. So I had to go through and like if it was a 4.5, I had to say like, is this a 5 or is this a 4?
Right, which is why I said, in mine when I was like, oh, that Regrettably I'm About to Cause Trouble, it was a 4.5 in my spreadsheet. So I was like, well, is it better or is it a 4? And I was like, you know what? It's a 5.
Excellent. Okay.
So,
yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's what I had to do too. Like go through. I can't remember if I ended up adding any to my 5 list. I don't think I did. I think everything I had at 4.5, I pushed to a 4.
You rounded down.
Yeah. Okay. So I ended up with 9 5 stars, 32 4 stars, 35 3 stars, 11 2 stars, 1 1 star, which was actually a half a star
for being a book.
And I rounded up to 1.
Oh, that's so nice.
And then I had I had 3 DNFs. So I'm going to tell you what my 5-star reads are.
Okay, I'm excited.
In the Likely Event by Rebecca Yarros, Garden of the Cursed by Katie Rose Poole, Heartless Hunter by Kristen. How do you say her last name?
Madeline?
Cicerelli.
I'm really weird. I'm really off. I was like,
I think it's Cicerelli.
Okay.
All right. First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston, Happy Place by Emily Henry.
Oh, I want to read that one.
Yes, you should. This Is Our Story by Ashley Elston. So I have 2 Ashley Elstons on my 5-star list.
Yes, you do.
Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana.
So twee.
So twee. Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. Oh, this one was originally 4.5, and I rounded up to 5.
Okay.
And then my last 5-star is Solo for the Season, the one I read last week. My little Christmas romance by Martha Keyes. I think that's the first time. Yeah, I think it's the first time I've ever had like a little cute Christmas book be like that high for me.
Right. It's always nice because you always expect it to just be like a middle of the road romance.
Yep, exactly.
But to have it like be like just ultra adorable and seasonal.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So those are all my 5 stars. I'm really excited about I was actually I feel like I could have given more 5 stars, but after going through the list and all the ones that I had at 4.5 and stuff, I still have anxieties about giving it more, giving a book 5 stars. Yeah.
Yeah. It came down to it when I was putting it all because I'm really bad about putting my ratings into
Goodreads.
And so as I was going through and I was putting them in to match what's in my my notes, I was like, if I have any doubts about it being 5 stars, then I'll just give it 4.
Yep.
And the only one that I stopped and was like, do I have any doubts?
Right.
Was regrettably I'm about to cause trouble. So I was like, well, and all the others I was like, So, yeah.
That's kind of how I felt about the Daughter of No Worlds one, is that I did have some that one made me question because I did have a little bit of doubts on it, which is the reason why I gave it 4.5 in the first place. But ultimately I really enjoyed the series overall and the characters and all of that. So I was like, I think the first book deserves a 5-star. The first book of the trilogy. So that's what I went with.
Nice.
So, okay. So remind me, how many DNFs did you have?
25.
Okay. We're not going to talk about all 25.
Oh, come on, Vanessa. You said we didn't know how long this episode was going to be.
We're going to be here for 4 hours.
Right. Yes. So,
yes.
I didn't even write them down. Okay. I mean, I could bring it up in my my phone, but I was like, I'm not even going to bother.
Do you have any specific ones that you remember being terrible, or were they all just kind of meh?
Yeah, they were all just kind of whatevers.
Okay.
I do know that I talked a lot of shit early in our podcast adventures about Assistant to the Villain.
You did.
I think that was because that was so new. It was the newest one, and it was a book talk, a big book talk one. I remember I talked a lot of shit about that one, and then when the second one came out, it reignited.
It did. Your hatred.
My hatred for that book. I did not read the second one. I didn't even give it a chance. So, yeah. I mean, without getting into each and every one's reasons, I put a note when I was doing my notes, because this was a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh, well, I'll just say that, if you want to know why I DNF'd it, I'll put it in my not my Insta. I'll put it in my Goodreads. And why I DNF'd it. And I did not do any of that.
Okay, great.
So,
2 week ago, Nicole was much more ambitious.
Yes.
Okay.
I still haven't even gone through and done all of my books that I finished for the years. So that is my goal.
Okay.
That is one of my goals for 2025.
Okay.
Once we get there, but
to be regular with your updates.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, excellent. Okay. So, I only had 3 DNFs, so I feel like it's a little easier for me to tell you.
Tell me them all.
Okay, I DNF'd the book Fallen Stars, which is the second book in the Heavenly Bodies series. I DNF'd that one at 55%. So I gave it a really good go.
Yeah.
And I
forgot about that.
Yes. I think that one was in January. I DNF'd that one. I just could not like keep going. I was like, all right, I'll give it a few more pages. And then I would be like, all right, well, it might get better. So I just kept going. And at 55%, I was like, fuck this. I can't do it anymore.
Which is really weird for you because usually I have to know what happens overrides how bad the book is.
That's
especially
100%
in a series.
true. Yes.
Yeah.
That might tell you something about this book. The second one is called Here We Go Again. And I DNF'd that one at like 30 pages. And I think that one was more me than it was the book. It's kind of like a cutesy, it feels like a cutesy rom-com where they go on a little road trip. But the beginning of the book is like their rivals. And I wasn't connecting to either one of them. And I was like, I really want to get on the road trip, but I just couldn't get to, like, I couldn't move past it. So I just I put it down. It was one of those ones where I was like, I'll get back to it at a different time. And I just never did. And I think I'm not gonna. So there was that one. And then the last one is called, it was supposed to be a sister book club. And it was called The Stranger in Her House. And I think I got to like 20% and I texted my sister and I was like, this is too weird. I can't read this one anymore. And she was like, well, I'm at 12% and I feel the same. So we both just quit it.
Nice. I love when that happens.
It just got weird. And I was like, I can't follow this one anymore. So those are my 3 DNFs.
Nice.
But yeah, like you said, it's really hard for me to DNF a book because most of the time I need to know what happens. Like, I just can't let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So moving past all of that, we did go through and highlight which was our favorite book of each month. We're not going to walk through that right now, but you can go to our Instagram, Savor the Story Pod, and look at our highlights because we do have it listed in there. And then we also do have a page on our website, savorthestorypod.com, where you can see all of our favorite books for each month if you want to do that. So we're just going to move past those. And I think what I want to talk about next is anticipated books that are coming out in 2025.
You don't want to do what your favorite book of the year is? Because I know you did a bracket.
I did. Do you have one?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I have 2. Because I split it up into genre.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's fair. Yeah. So I ended up with Heartless Hunter as my favorite one of the year. Yeah.
That is not what I was expecting. I think I expected a Rebecca Yarros book.
Yeah. So it was the 3 that I had to choose from based on my bracket was In the Likely Event, Heartless Hunter, and Variation, I think. I can't remember what my third one was that was in the bottom bracket. But yeah, I don't know why I really, really enjoyed Heartless Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was going back through and doing all my what's 5 stars, I think the only thing that I took away from Heartless Hunter was how, like, not to get into another book review, but the main character, how, like, she like fell into traps so easily, even though she was such a the best, fugitive ever or whatever she was. That was the beginning line, in the beginning first chapter or whatever. Like, she's the best that there is, and then she falls into a very easily identifiable trap, and I was like,
"That's true,
ma'am."
Okay,
you're dead to me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really like the book.
Yes.
So.
I think
I agree with that.
I had a couple of little things with it too, but I don't know. I think I just really, really enjoyed it. Well, but that also leads into one of my anticipated books of the year, which is the next book of that. So, but what was your favorite?
So
you have two. What was your two favorites?
Okay, so I did it by genre because I felt it was, I don't know, I felt it was weird to say or to like judge a history book, a straight up history book against like a fantasy, because I like them for different reasons, right? Like I don't go in reading a history book expecting to get how I feel about fantasies or however that works in my brain. So for history, it's probably not a surprise because it was the only book in my favorite by 5-star ratings, and that was Hunter Killers by Dan Hampton. I still maintain that anybody who likes history should go and watch it. Go watch it in your brain. So I listened to it. Fantastic book. That's my history recommendation. And then I struggled with my fantasy.
Okay.
Because I really enjoyed 1,000 Steps Into Night. But I think, I think I'll go with Last Blood Carver.
I was going to say that was my guess for your favorite book of the year was The Last Blood Carver.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that book. And that one also has a second book in my anticipated releases for the year.
Yes. So. I just looked at my breakdown, my like wherever, and the three that I had ended up being like the top three were In the Likely Event, Heartless Hunter, and Daughter of No Worlds. Based on how I have my bracket, those were the three. And so I picked Heartless Hunter. But if I'm going to do, because I feel like the two most genres that I read this year were fantasy and thrillers. So obviously Heartless Hunter is fantasy, but if I had to pick a thriller, my thriller would be First Light Wins by Ashley Elston.
Yeah, I think that's fair that you get to do by genre.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. Okay, so anticipated. My first one is Rebel Witch, which is the second Heartless Hunter book. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I have that on my list as well.
Excellent. Do you want to tell me all of yours, or do you want to tell me all of yours?
Okay. I only could come up with like 4 off the top
so
of
many.
I know, I could only come up with 4 off the top of my head. And I was like, I should go first to get this over with.
Okay.
Like we said, Rebel Witch, we shared that one.
Yes.
His Mortal Demise is the Last Blood Carver, the second one I was talking about earlier. I'm really excited for that one. I think that one comes out in March. So the Raiders of the Arcana book series, which is Empire Shadows and Tomb of the Sun King. I had to go look.
Okay.
So I read both of those books. The third one comes out this year. Jacqueline Benson, I follow her on Instagram. She put out like a teaser like, I have the third book like name out there. And when I like slid to the second tile to see what it was like, join the Patreon. And I was like, no, I will not join the Patreon just to figure out a book title. So I'll wait until the book comes out. So sometime in late 2025, the third book will come out.
Okay.
And I am looking forward to reading that one. And then my fourth one was like, I didn't realize there was going to be another one.
Okay.
I thought the whole series was already wrapped up. There is a series out there. It's about, I don't think I've ever reviewed it in the podcast.
Okay.
Just maybe on Instagram, but it's a series. It's like a short Kindle Unlimited series where it's about Dr. Greta Helsing. It's like Van Helsing's great granddaughter or something, but she's a doctor for paranormal like creatures or whatever. Okay. And it's a really cute series, but because I've never talked about it, I was like, I'm just going to give quick detail. So they're coming out with I think this will be the 5th. Like a 5th one. And it's called Strange New World. But it's by Vivian Shaw. And it's supposed to come out in May. So I am looking forward to this one.
Okay. When did book 4 come out? Was it this year?
It was this year. Okay. And I think I reviewed it in the pot or in the Instagram stuff, but I did not really like it.
Oh.
So I was on the fence about if I wanted to read this, and I'm still on the fence.
Okay.
Because I liked the first couple, and then I didn't really like that third or fourth one, and now I'm like, well, do I want to read the last one, this next one? Because I really like the other one, so I think I will. I'll give it a choice. All right. I have choices, and I will give it a chance.
Okay, great. Especially if it's a Kindle Unlimited too, like it's basically free.
Right.
Okay. That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's it.
So do you know what my first anticipated release is?
Yes, I do.
It's Onyx Storm.
Mm-hmm. And that comes out in January, right?
January 21st.
Out pretty quick.
Yes. And just so everyone is aware, I'm taking that day off of work because I plan to sit right here in this chair and read all day.
That's a good day to take off. Isn't that a Tuesday?
Yes, it is.
So I'm in the office that day. Yay.
Exactly. So for anyone who doesn't know, that is Fourth Wing number 3 or Empyrean series number 3. And then I have Rebel Witch, which is in February, the Heartless Hunter book 2. Okay, so I have one on my list that is it's a weird anticipated release because I didn't really love the first book. But it's called The Rag Picker King, and it's Sword Catcher book 2.
Oh yeah.
So Sword Catcher ended up being a sister book club for us, and both of us like kind of loved it, kind of hated it. Mm-hmm. Like it was just very overwritten, but the story itself was kind of cool, and we're both very interested to see like what happens and how the story goes. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to read the second one, but also I hope it's not as overwritten.
Yeah, I think I bought that book because you two were going to start reading it, mm-hmm. and by the time I got the book, you guys had already started, and I think you told me that you were like, I don't know how I feel about this book, and I was like, on to the shelf.
Yeah. And so it's by Cassandra Clare, which I was super excited about because she's the author of all the Shadowhunter series, and it just is not the same vibe. Obviously it's a different world, so I wasn't expecting it to be exactly the same, but it just feels like a different author almost. So anyway, so that's that one. There is the Hunger Games prequel is coming out in March. It's called Sunrise on the Reaping, so I'm looking forward to that one. The next Quicksilver book is supposed to come out in November. And while I waffled on my rating of Quicksilver, I am still very excited to find out what happens. The Ballad of Falling Dragons, which is the Moonfall book 2, is supposed to come out in October. I think that's the date that I saw. There's that. And then I'm very much holding out hope that the 4th Everflame book comes out. The date has moved so many times, and she just kind of put it on hold indefinitely. She did put a post out like last week, I think it was, and it said there's still no date, but there is movement with like the publisher and like all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking it'll come out sometime like mid to late 2025. But that's Burn of the Everflame is the 4th one. And I really need it to come out.
I need to know what happens.
I want to know right now. So those are all my anticipateds.
Nice.
Okay, so on top of your anticipateds, do you have any that are like must reads, like books that are already out that you've had on your TBR for a really long time, or like anything like that?
So yeah, I had I jotted down 5 that were just off the top of my head. And then I did this a couple weeks ago, and I did forget that I put one of these books on my I'm going to read it next year. Okay. Because I started it. And I'm actually going to review the book in the last episode.
Is it Jurassic Park?
No.
Oh, I was like, I saw you started that on Goodreads, and I was like, this was supposed to be next year.
Well, that's another one. So I did it twice.
Okay.
At Jurassic Park, the only reason I started it is because we drove the Jeep up to Michigan yesterday to drop it off at Mike's mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were coming back, Mike was like, do you have any books? And I had just finished my last audiobook. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, I have these 5 audiobooks that I haven't started. Go ahead and pick one. And he was like, oh, let's listen to Jurassic Park. And I was like,
dang it.
All right, cool. So we started that one and we listened to about 3 hours of it, I think.
Okay.
But it's like I think I still have like 11 hours left. Okay. So I think I might slow roll that one so I finish it
on January 1st. Yes. As long as you finish it on January 1st, then you can mark it off of your list.
Exactly. So it will count for next year's books.
Yes.
So that was not it. I had Cinder by Marissa Meyer on my list of books that I wanted to read. And there's a whole series. I think there's 4 books out right now. I don't know if there's more going to come out, but there are 4 books out right now. And Cinder is the first one. I had it as a read next year, but I already read it. And then I started the second one immediately, and I've been trying to slow roll that one as well, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm going to finish that one this week. Okay. So I'm going to finish the whole series, wrap up the series next year. Okay. That's what we're going
You changed the goal.
Right. So other than that, I have Where the Library Hides is on my list. We both got the book, I think with the intention of maybe doing it as like one of our book club books. Our bonus bites. So I've been saving it for in case we do choose to do that. Yeah. So I'd like to read it. Yeah. So I'd like to read that this year. So whether or not it's a bonus bites book or just a regular book, I will be reading that next year. Okay. I bought the Six of Crows box, like the duology series. I'd like to read that next year. It has great reviews on Goodreads, and I think that was one of the books that I pointed out to you as I don't think I've ever seen 1 million reviews of a book on Goodreads. And
have you looked at ACOTAR's? I'm sure I need to know.
Yeah, so Six of Crows has like over 1 million reviews, and I think that one's been out since like 2017-ish. So it's been out a while, and it probably has all those reviews because they're making a Netflix series about it. So I'm sure a lot of people went in. But
that's true.
What did yours say?
ACOTAR has people who wrote reviews is much less than people who rated it, but people who rated it is 3.2 million.
Jeez. Okay. Wow.
It's a 4.18 rating from 3.2 million people. Sorry.
See, there's people out there just fluffing it.
There are. Okay, so Six of Crows duology, right?
Six of Crows duology, yes. Okay. Don't know why I couldn't say it. All right, so the next 2 books that I have on my list, both of them were recommended by my sister. Okay. And I do plan on reading them. It's the first one is the Winter Night trilogy, which the first book of that is The Bear and the Nightingale. Oh, yep. By Catherine Arden. I plan on reading that series this year. Okay. And the second book is Vampires of El Norte. El Norte by Isabel Canas. My sister says that is one of her favorite books ever. So I'm going to read that one as well.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you?
I don't have like a ton listed. I didn't really go into like specifics that I knew for sure. I kind of just have like the ones that I wanted to read, I kind of just made them into challenges for myself, which we will get into. And I was like, this is a good way to mark this one off. Nice. And so really what I have is I want to read more Emily Henry because I have three of her books on my bookshelf, and I've only read one Emily Henry book, and it's not one of the ones I have on my bookshelf. So I want to at least read the ones that I have on my bookshelf, but just because I really enjoyed Happy Place, and so now I want to read more of her. I want to read some Allie Hazelwood books. I've only read one from her, and it was Bride, and I very much disliked that book because I am not into the Omega verse. This is not for me. Don't want that. But from what I see and hear and all that kind of stuff, that's her only Omega verse book. All of her other stuff is more like romancy. And so there's a couple of books that are out by her that are like rated really high and I've heard really good things about. So I want to read at least one other Allie Hazelwood book that's not Bride to give them a try. And then I am 100% going to read the two series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. It's the 10 books that are part of the 2 series, the Blood and Ash series and the Flesh and Fire series.
That's the 10-book series you said?
Yes.
Oh, how are you going to do that? Are you going to do like one a week and like keep yourself in line? Or are you just going to binge read it all and we're going to get like 1 or 2 books an episode?
Yes. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
We'll find out when it starts, huh?
Yeah. I mean, so I will tell you when I really, really enjoy a series, I can't stop. So there won't be any other books in between them. And if it's just okay, there will be other books in between them. So we'll see how it goes. But I am going to do the tandem read. So the author has put on her website, because the 2 series are connected. And she's put on her website like the recommended reading order. So it's like 2 books from this series and then 1 book from the other one and then 1 book from the last one. So I'm going to read them how she recommends them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about it. It's been on my list for a really long time for me to do it, and I'm gonna do it.
Nice. Yeah. So we've been talking about that for I feel like a couple months now. Whenever you're like, I started a new book, and I'm like, is it the 10-book series?
No. So I kind of wanted to do it like it be the first thing I read of 2025.
Oh, you can't though.
However, I have Onyx Storm at the end of the month, and I was like, I know I'm going to take a break for that, especially because I want to reread the first 2 before Onyx Storm comes out. And so I was like, well, it's already pushed back. And then, so I might start it on February 1st, maybe.
Can I guess, like interrupt you for a second? When you said that, I just want to say, when we were like, oh, hey, can you tell me some of your DNFs that were maybe bigger DNFs? Hey guys, it's Nicole. Don't hate me. No, I'm just joking. So Fourth Wing is one of my DNFs.
That's true.
And I will say, I don't think it's totally because of the book itself. I know I said this earlier. I made the mistake of listening to it. Instead of reading it, and part of it is probably the girl who is
the narrator
narrating, but some of it was just, I think it's that skimming thing we've talked about where you can skim past stuff like, oh, that's how
when
I've
she gets real whiny or
right, and she's just like, oh my gosh, do I love him, don't I hate him, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh my god, I don't care. So when you're in a audiobook, it's harder to do that.
That's true.
I started listening to that book on a drive up to the cabin, and 6 hours later I was like, oh my god, stop talking about him, I don't care anymore. And I stopped listening to it, and then I have a physical copy on my shelf. I don't remember where I got it, but I have a physical copy. And I was like, oh, I'll just find my spot and finish the book reading it. And every time I looked at it, I was like, I'll get to it later. And now here we are at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's okay.
Sorry.
Don't we make a great pair? You didn't like Fourth Wing. I didn't like ACOTAR. We're just going to be hated all around. That's okay. So yeah, yep, that's my goal.
Nice.
Probably I hope to start it in February, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's that. Okay. Now, lastly, all of our goals, challenges, all of the things we've set up for ourselves for 2025. What did you do to yourself, Nicole?
All right. So my 2025 reading goal is, and I don't think this will be a surprise to you. My 2025 reading goal is 104 books.
Which equals
2 books a week.
Yes.
For the entire year.
Yes.
Now, before I ask you yours, though, your number, because I assume you have a number reading goal and then a whole bunch of other reading goals.
So many.
Right. So before I step into yours, if you'll allow me for a second.
Okay.
I also gave myself a secret reading goal.
Okay. Are you going to tell me what it is?
No, I'm not telling anybody.
Being a bitch.
I am not going to tell a single person what it is. And then if we end up, when we do our mid-year wrap-up, I'll give you our mid-year wrap-up, our mid-year like check-in. Mm-hmm. I will tell you how I'm doing.
Okay.
But I will not tell you what it is until the end of the year when I say I passed or failed.
I feel like it's like 200 books or something.
It is not 200 books. I would not do that to myself. That is terrible.
Okay. All right. Well, that's where my brain was going, is that you you were like 2 books a week, and then you're like, but 200 really?
Secret. No, it is not.
All right. Fair.
Okay.
So mine is half of that. I am going to go with 52 books, 1 a week is my goal.
And that,
at least.
And that's not, I mean, that's pretty close to what your goal was this year.
Yeah.
It gives you the flexibility to do more and not have pressure.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Undue pressure on myself, Nicole.
Yeah. I'm not worried about my 104 book
I'm not
goal.
Either.
I feel like that's kind of almost the same to me as saying I'll do 50.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna not hit 104.
Yeah.
My secret goal, though, I am kind of nervous about.
Okay.
So
all right, fair. I also have a secret goal, but I'm gonna tell you my secret goal.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a secret in that I haven't told you yet.
Okay.
Yeah. My secret goal is that I want to read at least 3 books that you've recommended this year.
Oh my goodness.
So I already have 2.
That I've ever recommended? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Okay. Is one The Last Blood Carver?
Yes. One is The Last Blood Carver, and the second one is Circe.
Oh, okay.
And then the third one I haven't chosen yet. It'll either be one that you've already done, or it'll be like throughout the year if you happen to rate one 5 stars or something.
Okay.
That's my goal that I hadn't told you about, but I want to do at least 3.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh no. Now I have more anxiety.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So I guess, well, do you want to know my secret goal? Since you told me your secret goal.
You don't have to tell me.
No, I'll tell you.
Okay. Tell me what your secret
I was going to say, tell me you want to know what it is. Because I won't tell you if you don't.
Of course I do.
My secret goal is 156 books.
Is that 3 a week? What is that? Is it 3 a week?
It's 3 a week.
You're such a whore, man.
A book whore.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So the reason I'm super nervous about it, because I wasn't nervous about it when I wrote it down, because I wrote this down probably, I don't know, a month ago. So I tried to do 3 books just to give it a try to see like how much stress I'm putting on myself. And it's not bad if my weeks are just like, I didn't do anything.
Right.
You know, because I had a couple this month, I've had a couple 3 book weeks.
Right.
That was me giving it a try. This week, I was kind of busy.
Yeah.
And I was also just not really feeling the reading. Whenever I was sitting on the couch, I was like, I have the option of opening a book or opening TikTok.
Yeah.
I always chose TikTok.
Of course. Also, this month, you did not have a bonus bites book.
I know.
So,
well, I'm going to count bonus bites as
of course.
as a third book because it does count to my overall number, but there will be some episodes definitely where I won't have 3 books an episode because of bonus bites. But man, I don't know. That means I have to have 4 book weeks, and I've only done that probably once or twice.
Yeah, I don't think you should have to do that.
It's too late. I wrote it down.
Well, okay, so...
And then I gave myself a paper cut and accidentally sealed it in blood. It's a blood pack now.
So I feel like now I literally have no pressure because the episodes will be so long if I'm reading 2 or 3 a week and you're reading 3 a week for sure. I'm for sure only talking about 1 book a week.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely tell you, since you have no problems with just like lying about how many books you read a week. No, I'm just joking. But saving books.
Yeah.
We can just chat about it, right?
Okay.
But just be like, so I didn't make my goal this week and I only have 2.
Yes, that is one of the reasons why I don't have to worry about reading this week, because I still have a book from like 2 weeks ago that I haven't talked about yet. So I just moved that to this week. Okay. What are your other challenges that you've set for yourself?
So I chose 2 books that are also movies and or TV shows.
Oh, I have that one too.
Yeah, which is why I was saving Jurassic Park.
Yes.
So that one I think I'm going to hit pretty quick. I chose 2 just because I was trying to, the easy hurdle, right? So I think that's one of them. I put on here, maybe I should read a classic book, ? And then me and you went to the bookstore a couple weekends ago, and we both said, I think we both looked at the classic books and we both picked up a classic book.
Yes.
It said, maybe we should do this as a 2025 reading goal. I picked up Emma, and I think the only reason I picked up Emma is because you picked up the book that I was going to read.
Little Women. Yeah. Sorry.
So, that's okay.
Whoopsie.
So.
Do you have more?
Yes, I have 2 more.
Tell me.
Okay, so I don't think it's a reading goal. Maybe it is. I don't know. You can decide. Okay. So up until this year, I tried this thing where I didn't immediately DNF any of my books. I just saved them until the end of the year. And then with the intention of maybe I would come back and pick them up later and read them. I didn't ever do that.
Okay.
So I'm changing up my DNF format where I think I've done before where I try to give it at least 50 to 100 pages. I think I'm going to go back to that where I'm going to do 50 to 100 pages before I DNF it.
Okay.
And then I'll just talk about it in the episode.
Okay. So basically, if you give it that much time and you're still not in it, it's going to be a straight DNF. It's not going to be a save for later.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm done with save for laters.
Okay.
Unless it's a book that maybe I could tell that I'm just not into this week, but I have been wanting to read it for a long time. So I think it's going to be
like last minute game time decision.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So yeah, I'm going to do that. And then we talked about this a little bit. I think I'm going to do a 25 and 25. So 25 of a certain type of book in 2025. So, and I put maybe ? I would do an around the world. So I would read a book, 25 books that are set in different countries around the world.
Oh, so you went with setting. Because I know we had talked about maybe like author or like something like that. Okay, so the book is set in 25 countries.
Correct.
Like one in each country.
Yeah. Okay. So I still haven't gone through and made my list.
Okay. So that's going to be a necessity for that one for sure.
Right. So I'm gonna have to really pay attention to that one, I think, or else I'm gonna end up. We're gonna be doing our mid-year check-in, and I'm gonna be like, I'm at 20. Like I have 20 left. So, yeah.
Okay.
So those were my 4 reading goals. Okay. I guess if you want to call the DNF one a reading goal.
I mean, it's like a goal that you set for yourself to like make sure you're better at that, basically. Then I accept
if we're saying stuff that we're better at, then I should also include I need to get better at putting my thoughts in Goodreads.
That's right. Yes, add that to your list.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and you?
So my first one is I'm going to do the A to Z challenge. So I tried it this year. So it's A to Z, where the title of the book is every letter of the alphabet. And then it's got some extras. It's got one that's got a number in the title, a color in the title, animal in the title, and a 1-word title. So those are like A to Z plus some things. So I did really good this year. I only missed 4 of the prompts.
Nice.
So I didn't have J, K, X, and a color. So that's how I finished this year.
In X, you just have to have the letter in the name of the book.
X is anywhere in the, and Z also is anywhere in the name of the book.
Well, you're going to have X done.
So I'm actually going to use Onyx as my color. Onyx Storm is going to be my color book.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Because I already have.
Oh.
I know, but I already have. I know. Maybe I'll move it to my X, but I will. Maybe that's smarter. Ugh. I don't know. We'll see. I already have a list going of books that I'm going to read that will fit into those. So I hope to finish it this year. Or in this year. Okay.
Now, can I ask you a question about that? When you do that, the title of the book, can you ignore the first word if it's a or a the, or does that count as your A or T?
So I did it to where if it had an A or a the, I didn't put it anywhere. I didn't use it.
Okay, so you were able to ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
So I was able to get all of them without using a T or an A.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I felt like I was cheating if I used those in one of the letters because I was like, that's not really the title. So I'm going to try to do that again to where I ignore, like, those don't count in the, okay. So my next one is, so I have a couple of book subscription boxes and I feel like I've only read like 1 book out of that. So I am adding to my list that I have to read at least 5 of my subscription books. And
especially because you're going to keep getting them.
Yes, especially because I'm going to keep getting them. But also I think it's, so I'm going to allow myself to mark off if one book hits multiple of these challenges, then great.
Yes.
Because my next one is at least 5 physical books that I have on my shelf. So like if like I hope I kind of want to keep those separate, but also I'm not going to force myself to keep those separate because I do have a lot of books on my shelf that I need to read. I've already told you my 3 books that you've recommended, and then we talked about the 2 books that are movie, like book to movie or TV adaptations. So that's mine as well. I also added, so my sister and I, while I was there 2 weeks ago or whatever, we randomly decided that we wanted ChatGPT to pick books for us.
Oh no.
So I have it on my list that we're going to do at least 5 where ChatGPT picks the book for us.
Oh my goodness.
Of what we're going to read.
I'm interested to hear how this goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see because I want, like, we're going to figure out what prompts to put in and have it tell us like what to read. And then my last one is I want to read at least 3 new to me authors.
Okay.
So just authors that I've never read before. So yeah, those are all my challenges and goals and all the things. And so I feel like that one might be a little bit easier because a lot of the subscription books that I get, I don't always know the author. So like it'll be so easy.
Setting yourself up.
I was going to say, says 2024 me.
I think, I don't know, I think that one will be good. Like you said, some of the subscription books. And then, especially if Chat GPT.
Yeah, that's right.
Who knows what that thing's going to pick.
Yeah, exactly. So we already have the first one picked out. We did it while I was there. And so we haven't started it yet because we already had another book going. But so first one's already picked. So yeah.
Nice. And you guys didn't pick a number of books to do together? Mm-mm. Were you guys surprised by the number of books you guys?
I was. 25? I haven't talked to her about the last book we finished yet, so I was going to talk to her about like what we did, and I want to see what she says. So I'll have an update for you in one of the next episodes of what her thought was. But yeah, I was shocked that we did 25 because our goal was 12.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think that's everything. That is our 2024 reading wrap up.
Woot, woot.
All of the information for you. Like I said, we do have all of the stuff on the website. So if you missed anything or are interested in any of the books that we like rated high or whatever, all on the website, all in our Instagram highlights. Go check it out. Be our friend.
Yeah. Or send me an email.
Okay.
If you want to know what I thought, just shoot me an email. Be like, Nicole, what did you rate this book and why?
Yes. Tell
if
me
it's
your
not
review.
in my Goodreads.
Yes. Just send an email, saveofthestorypod@gmail.com and say, hey, Nicole, please go update your Goodreads for this book.
So I know what you're talking about.
Yes. So yes, that is it. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for coming to our first video podcast. And if you're still listening to just audio, thank you for sticking around.
Yes.
And please rate us, give us 5 stars, give us comments, give us thumbs up, give us everything. And we appreciate you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Get out of here.